In this video, we're going to look at creating a maze game. Now, before you create any game or any project in Scratch, you really need to plan out what you want to do first. In front of me on a piece of paper, I've drawn and sketched out what I want my maze to look like, and I've written down what I want my game to do. So ultimately, I want to have a ball on the screen that I can move up, down, left, and right. I want it to be able to move through the maze. If it touches a wall, I want it to stop. And when it gets to the end of the maze, I want it to touch a door or an ending, and that's tell me that the game is finished. So I've planned all that out, and you need to start doing that with your projects. Now on the screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a new sprite. I'm going to put a little ball on the screen. I'm going to delete my cap. I'm going to go to my stage. I'm going to edit my background and draw my maze. Now you should be able to do all of these things because we've done them in previous videos. The one thing I'm going to show you before I get you to pause the video is we're going to delete the cap, and I also want to draw a new sprite, and we haven't done this before. So I click on the Paint New Sprite button, and all I simply want is almost like a door, an ending for my game. So I'm just going to select, in my case, a little green color. You can choose whatever you want, and a little rectangle there, and I'm just going to draw a little rectangle and press OK. So that's my sprite on the stage. I'm going to put that in the bottom right hand corner because I want it to be my ending, and I want it to be a bit bigger. So I've got my sprite there. So once again, what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video. I want you to insert a ball, a sprite for the ball, go to the stage, edit the background, and draw your maze. Once you've done that, unpause the video and we will continue. Okay, so you can see, and hopefully you have something similar. I've got a little ball on the screen now, and I've drawn a maze that I want my ball to be able to travel through. If you don't have something like this, just quickly pause again, go back, redraw your background, and make sure you have a little sprite in the corner. Once we have all this, I want to make sure I've clicked on my sprite, my ball, and I'm in scripts, because I'm going to do the code for the ball. This is what's going to move around the screen. So if I look back at my planning, what I wanted to do is I want my ball to move up, down, left, right. When it touches the wall, so these red blocks, I want it to stop, and when it gets to the green block, I want the game to end. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my control, and I'm going to say when the green flag is clicked. First thing I want to make sure is that when I start my game, my ball is always in this top left hand corner. So what I need to do is I'm going to drag it exactly where I want it to start, right there. And if I have a look over here, it shows the X and Y axes. So it shows the position of the ball on the stage. So it's -214, Y160. So what I want to make sure is that when we start the game, so when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to go to motion, and I'm going to say go to X -214, Y160. So every time I start the game, that sprite, that ball, is going to start right there on the screen. The next thing I want to do is move it up, down, left, and right. And you should know how to do this because we did it previously, but once again, I'm going to drag out my control block when up is pressed. Back to motion, I want to point in direction up, and I want to move 10 steps. Now I want you to do that 3 more times for down, left, and right. And the easiest way to do that is to right click and duplicate. So I've got when up arrow again, but now I'm just going to click when down arrow, point in direction down. Right click, duplicate. When left arrow, point in direction left, and one more time duplicate when right arrow. When right arrow, point in direction right. So I've got here, when I start the game, the ball starts up there, and when I press those, we get the ball moving. Now obviously, it's not playing exactly as I like yet, because we haven't set up the conditions on the blocks, but we've got the beginning of our game. The next part I want to set up is the condition that if I touch these red blocks, I want the ball to stop. I don't want to go through them. So to do that, I'm going to once again drag in a when green flag is clicked, and I'm going to bring in a forever loop because I want it to run for the entirety of the game, so it's always happening over and over and over. So we have when the green flag is clicked, forever, always. I want to go back to control, and I want an if statement. I'm going to drag that in between the forever. So when we play the game, always check for this. So what are we checking for? Under sensing, if color, or if touching color, sorry. So if, and drag that to the little box there, if I am touching this color. Now the color we want is the red. So I'm going to click on that, gives me an eyedropper, and I'm going to click on the red. So if touching color, and I click on that box, click on the red. So if touching color red, I want to go back to motion, and I'm going to say move, right in the middle there, move -10 steps. So when we play the game, forever, so always, if I touch the red block, I want you to move 10 steps backwards. So I'm going to run the game again. The ball goes back to the start. I can move up and down, left and right. And now when I touch the red, I can't go through. The ball continually bounces back. And that's going to happen no matter where I am on the game. So I can never touch the red, or the ball will move -10. So we have the first parts of the game. We have the movement and we have the block touching. The last thing I need to do is say, now when I get to the green, I want the game to end. So what I need to do now, I need to click on that sprite, so the green one. I'm going to click on that, and you'll see there's no code in here. We're going to create our own code. Once again, when the green flag is clicked, so when the game is playing, we're going to do a forever loop again, because we want it to always be happening. And we want an if again. So very similar to before. So when the green flag is clicked, forever listen. So forever listen if this is happening. And what do we want to listen for? Back to sensing, if touching, in that little box there. So if I am touching the sprite number 2. So sprite 2 is my soccer ball. So if the green box is touching sprite number 2, I'm going to do something simple, and I'm going to go and just get it to say you win. So I'm going to go looks, and I'm going to say you win. So I'm going to go back, run my game, and very quickly speed through the maze. Oop, if I touch the red, it bounces back, up, down, all the way through, and when I get to the end, and I touch the green, it tells me I win. So the basic blocks of building a game there. We've done a few of these before. We did the movement. Now we're looking at the forever, the if, and what happens when you touch things. So we touch the red, it bounces back. We touch the sprite, it says you win. So it's combining about 4 or 5 different skills to make this very simple game. To make it more advanced, what you could look at is, well, when you touch the green block, how do you stop the game completely, or maybe move to a different level? So create a second background on your stage, create a second looking maze, and get it to go to that maze once you finish the game.